You don't have to close the door yet. Well, bye-bye.
Same daddy, bye. Go daddy.
Thank you. But love you.
Oh, did you hear her say love you?
Mm. Love you. Bye.
Ooh.
And that's what I want to do. Just want to do this. I plan on doing this for a charity exponent, and I think I'm capable of doing that, and that's what I want to do.
Susan told me she appreciates when I voice my opinion in the group chat.
She's probably like, I'm not the only one.
But we just have to remember that everybody knows that everyone's on the same page and everyone studies. But
I think mostly, not a lot of people know. Just being at the church is a lot of Ezra heals people.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Benton doesn't really supply you with doctrinal understanding.
Well, that's why even Renee was like, I don't think this should just be limited to us. I think the church needs to do something. She's like, I think the church needs to educate the moms.
I could send a message to
Well, Julie's in the chat.
Oh well, then she should be telling Rodney. Yeah, I don't think they're doing enough
Education.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying to Susan. I was like, education is so important. Like even like we have to educate our children, and everyone just needs education. So think of, we weren't educated. That's what we're learning now. It's all about learning, educating, and teaching. She said because when one of her children was younger, they were talking about babies and stuff, and they're talking about reproduction. And one of the children was like she's like, they had talked, the dad, David, had said to one of them, the egg comes from the mom, and then the dad has to fertilize it. Like, oh, I said. So she said later in the day, the child was like, no, wait, I didn't. Yeah, I've been thinking about this all day. She was like, since Daddy said that to you, Daddy's gonna tell you. What happened?
education.
Excuse me. I'm so tired. Where's the for a cat? But actually, it's a French. Where's the for a cat? But little came here. The nice cat, the Dyson man. Then the man, that was weird, but not that together. You're home to Bel Air.
Hey, Mr. Ray.
Hey, good day, everyone. Jacob, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, you got a haircut. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I took some of it off. I have a lot of gray hairs. My family
Hey.
grays early, so I got tired of seeing it.
Okay.
So just have to dye the beard now. I'm done.
Mr. Ray,
Yes. Clemente, how you doing?
I didn't come in last Thursday. I forgot. I didn't end up emailing you. Is that okay?
Well, thank you for letting me know today. I wasn't sure if it had anything to do with your initial, what you had told me before.
Yeah. Well, it did have to do with that. That's why it automatically, it was a change of plans. So I ended up did leave town.
Okay, I figured that's what it was. And I said, well, maybe I mixed up the date, but since you're
No,
clarifying that it was, that's what I thought.
I had told you that we had,
okay.
but then after things got changed around and I needed to go over there.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm just gonna go through the names again. So George, welcome, George.
Hello, Mr. Greeting to everyone.
Yes, good day to you, and Veronica.
Hello, Mr. George.
And Jacob, just going over your name again.
Yep.
And Alma. Welcome, Alma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Norma. And Susanna. Welcome, Susanna.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And Adriana. And Clemente.
How you doing, Mr. Ray?
I'm all right. Just going through the names again. So if you hear me say it again, that's why. Daniel B. Welcome, Daniel B.
Hi, Mr. Ray. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How you doing?
Not too bad. Sorry about last Thursday, man. My work schedule has really been kicking me in my butt lately, and I just got off work right now. I'm stopping off, grabbing something to eat. I'm on my phone, so I'm really trying to make the effort of making sure my attendance. But work is just it's work, I guess.
Well, hey, be glad that you have work. So as long as you're letting me know and you're showing that you really want to be here, that's pretty. I could always vouch for you and stuff. So.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And William, welcome, William.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
That's good. That's great. And Dorcas. Welcome, Dorcas. And Salvador.
Hello, Mr. Ray.
Good day, sir. How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And Justine, welcome, Justine.
Mr.
Hi,
Ray,
Mr. Ray,
sorry.
thank you.
Yes,
I
all right.
was.
Welcome.
Hi, Mr. Ray.
Hi, Dorcas.
My screen just went blank on me, so I couldn't like unmute myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably been on hibernation mode, and you caught it just in time. All right, Latavia, welcome.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm okay. Sorry, but last Thursday my Wi-Fi was acting up.
Yeah, it happens. Thank you for letting me know.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And okay, and Marisol, welcome, Marisol.
Hi, Mr. Ray. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. How you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
That's good.
Thank you. And Dina, welcome, Dina.
Hi, Mr. Ray.
Good day. How you doing? Have a good evening.
It's been good. It's been busy.
That's good.
So I'm trying to relax right now that we're gonna do this.
Well, that's good. You want to have a relaxed mind, not to be stressed out.
I'm hoping for it.
And lastly, Adriana. Welcome, Adriana. Okay, might have just stepped out. Oh, I lost her. But hopefully everyone's internet is working fine today. I know sometimes it's even my one can act up. I guess there's so many people that are online now, so it causes an overload, and sometimes our internet can act funny. Okay, so last week, if there are no other questions, actually, before I forget, you might have done this already. You can let me know, but I prefer to do it now before I forget. It doesn't take that long to do, and it's a survey. The school wants us to do a survey, and just gonna let Johnny in. And I'm just gonna ask that you do that really fast. I'm gonna send it in the chat.
Mr. Ray, this is Daniel B. I'm driving right now. Is there any way I could do the survey later?
Yeah, totally fine. I just wanted to get as many people to do it as soon as possible. So if you don't get it before you get back to your house, just remind me, and I'll send it. Actually, let me just put it in remind as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So you guys could get it either way. So please go ahead, fill that out right now, and once you're done, just send me a chat saying done. It should only take about a minute. The only way it will take a little bit longer is if you forget your ID. So if you forget your ID, please let me know that as well.
Mr. Ray, I forgot my ID.
Okay, just
I
hold on.
also forgot my ID.
Okay, hold on. I can't see who's talking. I can tell the voices sometimes. I want to say that was Justine in Salvador.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, and just bear with me while I do that.
Number 6.
Mr. Ray, this is Clemente. Where do I do the survey at?
I sent it in the chat. You should see a link in the chat.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, see it.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
this is Norma. I'm
Hi,
on my
Norma.
phone because I'm having problems with the internet.
Yeah.
So can I send it to you later on?
Yeah, you could do that. It's not me, actually. It's the school. So I sent it in the Remind app. You're in the Remind app, right?
No, I'm in Zoom.
No, I mean, do you have the Remind app?
Yeah, I do.
I sent it in there as well, so you can always check in there later.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ray, Lativia here. Can you check for my ID also?
Okay, will do.
Thank
I
you.
was in the wrong class just now, so I was like, how come I can't find anybody? But I was
Okay.
in the wrong register.
Hey, Mr.
All right.
Ray,
Yes.
what's your full name?
Damien. Ray.
Ray Damien.
Damyon.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, Salvador, I'm just sending it and making sure it's yours so that somebody does not have your information. Okay, so there's yours. Justine, I'm about to get your one as well.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
student ID number would be my my date of birth and all that.
You should have been given an ID number, like an
Okay.
AE number. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I got that. I got that.
Okay, perfect. And Justine, I sent yours. Did somebody else ask? I thought I heard 3 names.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Latavia, did you ask me? I remember somebody else had asked.
I need my ID too, Mr. Ray.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
think
sir, I
sent you
did.
the chat.
Okay,
Sorry.
so Dina and Latavia.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And Latavia, yours is there, and Dina, yours will be right behind in a moment.
Received. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and Dina, there is yours.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
can you spell your last name?
I'll send it to everyone, so if you
Okay.
need to put my name in, it's right here in the chat.
My cajonera on the second cajon to the right. In una bolsa.
Got it.
Under my
Thank you, Mr.
clothes.
Ray.
You're welcome. Okay, I have a few done, just waiting for a few more. I'm just gonna step out real fast to get some water, so don't think I've disappeared.
Mr. Ray, I've not got my ID, student ID. I've not seen it.
George, Mr. Ray to step out for a second. He'll be right back.
Okay, okay.
Okie dokie. So I think that's about everybody.
I still have my ID.
Oh, Johnny, you don't have yours?
No.
All right, hold on. Did you send it to me in the chat? I didn't see that.
Even my own George too could not see my ID.
Okay, George and All right, Johnny, I just sent yours, and George, I'm just gonna.
Mr. Ray, can you send mine too? This is Norma.
Okay, George, I just sent yours, and Norma, I'm just looking for yours now. Okay, and Norma, yours has been sent. All right, thank you, Johnny. So, and Gennaro,
Yes,
just let you
sir.
in not too long ago.
How are you, Mr.
I'm all right. Do you see, let me just resend it. I was gonna ask, do you see, I'm not sure how Zoom's chat works. If you come in later, does it show anything that I've sent?
Let me see. On Zoom?
Yeah, but I'm just gonna resend this here. Everyone's gonna see it again. But it's just the survey that the school wants us to do, all the students rather. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a survey online, and it's a few questions that you just have to fill out.
Yes, I have it here on Remind.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah,
All
so
right,
you can do
let
that.
me fill this out.
And do you have your ID number?
My student ID number?
Yeah. You don't need to
Yes.
tell me, just put it right in there when it prompts you to.
Yeah, it should be in my folder.
Okay.
Let me
All right, so it looks like majority of you have it, and Gennaro, since you have your ID number,
I've not got it. I've not got the ID. I'm still searching for it. I've not seen where you sent it. Is it on that messenger?
I sent it in the chat. Have you looked in the chat?
Check. Let me see.
This chat, C-H-A-T. No, on this chat. So at the bottom of your, it should be on the bottom of the Zoom, you should see chat. It looks like a little chat box, C-H-A-T.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Let me see.
Oh, there we go. I see it. I got it.
All right, perfect.
Right in front of me, Eddie. Okay, let me fill this out. Full name.
And Gennaro, in the chat, I sent how to spell my name. I sent it to everyone already.
Yes, I got it.
Yes. Somebody called me?
I'm using my phone. I'm not gonna be able to use that.
Okay.
You might be able to. It depends on your phone.
7.
Oh, and this is gonna be 4, because I just connect myself to the class.
Do you see the if you click on that link, it takes you to a survey.
I've seen it, sir. I've seen it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you see it, Sergio?
I'm trying to, because it's the first time I use my phone.
Right.
I'm trying to find it.
If it doesn't work, you can always do it later if you have a computer.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay. No, I don't.
Okay, it's not working?
No.
All right,
I'll keep
so
trying.
we'll work our way around it. It's not, I mean, we can figure it out. I might have to just fill it out for you or something at the end of class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done, Mr. Ray, too. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I believe most of you are done. It might be just one or two just finishing off with the survey, but we're gonna go ahead and begin. Last week I had given you guys some practice to do out of the workbook. Any challenges, any problems? Was it easier? Any issues with it? I told you guys try some problems in the workbook for measurements.
I have to be honest, Mr. Ray, I haven't gotten a chance to do anything, to be honest. My job was just hectic this entire weekend.
Totally understandable. Thank you for being honest and just letting me know.
Sure thing.
And anyone else, were you able to get to it? And if you were, was it challenging? Were you able to get through it pretty easily?
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
On the okay, so that was Unit 2, page 12, page 32, right? Mr. Ray, there's some of them that I was able to do really easy, and there's some that I tried and I just gave up, you know.
Okay, no problem. Any of those you want to look at?
Yeah, 13, 14.
Okay, 13 and 14.
Yeah.
All right, so number 13 and 14 in the book. And I can't share this, so hopefully everybody has their workbook there. And just gotta get my pen ready. Okay, so let me go ahead and share.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I had trouble with 17 and 24.
Okay, we can look at those as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so number 13 and 14 are both based off of that one box above. And number 13, if you start off with the initial passage, it says pure gold, 24 karat, is golden yellow in color. However, alternate colors of gold may be formed by mixing pure yellow gold with metals of different colors in various proportions. Use the following recipe for making 10 karat. Use white gold, what? Use the following recipe for making 10 karat. Use white gold for questions 13 and 14. Sounds like a little bit of a typo there. But basically, you're going to use the recipe below that allows you to make 10 karat gold for questions 13 and 14. Yeah, that's what it sounds like it's saying. So anyhow, they give you a little box there, and I just see something in the chat. What page? This is page 32. So page 32 in the workbook, just to be clear. So page 32 in the workbook, number 13. Okay, so it says if a jeweler uses 112.5 grams of pure gold, determine the amount of silver that must be added to make 10K white gold. All right, so 10 karat white gold based off of that. So how much silver would be needed to be used? Now notice that the answers are pretty similar. You have 0.156, 0.156 kilograms, 15.6 grams, 156 milligrams, and 52 grams in that question. All right, so for number 13, they want you to write it as gold per silver. So because you're comparing two different quantities, you could use proportions here. So you have 37.5 grams of gold. So you could represent it as gold versus silver in your ratio. So you have 37.5 grams of gold, and that's equal to 52 grams of silver. And you're going to change the gold to 112.5 grams of gold. And you want to know how much silver will that be, and you can put that as X. All right, so that's how you can set it up. First, using ratios, or proportions rather. Proportions, remember, a comparison of two quantities. that are being affected in a similar way. So we can cross multiply. You can ignore the G's, but 37.5 grams. You don't need the grams. And then multiply these two together. Just for sake of time, I'm going to use the calculator. So 112.5 times 52. I'm going to give you a big number there, and I forgot to write that X. 5,850. All right, so if we divide both sides now by 37.5, that will allow us to figure out what X is going to be. So X is going to be equal to that number, and since we have our calculators out, we can go ahead and use it. We're going to get 156. Now, what unit are we doing here? What unit does this represent?
Grams.
This is grams, right? So we get 156 grams, and we want to see what is that. So we look at our answers, and we could tell it's not going to be D, right? D says 52. But A, B, and C are all forms of 156 in terms of grams, kilograms, etc. So we need to decide between A, B, and C. So between A, B, and C, which one is it obviously not, given that this is grams already?
C.
C?
Yeah, obviously should not be C because it's 156 grams. So it's impossible for it to be 156 milligrams. So we know we can cross out D, we can cross out C, and now we just need to make a decision between A and B. But if you look at B, what does B say?
Grams.
That says 15.6 grams. Is that correct?
Move the point. You have to move the point.
Well, we would, but B is wrong because this says 156 grams and B says 15.6 grams.
So it would be A because it's 0.56 kilograms, right?
Right, and so you could deduce the answer without any other work. You could just say, you know what, it can't be D because it's not 52. It can't be 156 milligrams because I know this is 156 grams, cross that out. It can't be 15.6 grams because I actually got 156 grams. And so it must be A just by using deduction. And we can see that it is A because 156 grams in terms of kilograms is a thousandth of a kilogram. And so if we were to work that out, this is how much it would be in kilograms. That's just move the decimal point over 3 times, 156 kilograms. And so if we were to work it out, we see it's A, but we could have just knocked out which ones are obviously wrong in each of those. All right, does that help out?
Yep. When you make it, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Say that again?
I say, when you do it, it's so much easier.
Practice makes progress.
That's so true.
All right, any questions on this?
No, Mr. Ray, I just had to practice on the, I mean, if I would have done the fraction part, I would have got my answer. It was so much for my mind that I couldn't even figure out what to do at that point.
Did so you got down to 156 though?
No, nothing. It was so much that I couldn't, I mean, I don't know, for some reason I couldn't get the answer. I knew that, you know, that if I multiply 37 by 3, I get 112. But I just couldn't get the fact that how do I get 52 times 3, 156. So I knew that I can fit 37 and 112 3 times. So
right.
I multiply that, and I tried to multiply the 52 by 3, and it gave me the number, and I didn't know what to do with it.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so that would have been your number if you had done that, if you had multiplied 52 by 3, because that's similar. That's a similar concept, what you just said, right? You notice that it was 37, what was it, 30? I just erased it, 37.5.
Yes.
And then you knew that, depending on how you wrote it, you knew that it was going to be 112.5 per kilograms. And so you might have wrote, I'm not sure how you wrote it out. You could have wrote it like a ratio. So you knew that it was 52. And so you said, well, to get there, I have to times it by 3.
Yes.
And so that means my answer, I have to times that by 3. And so you could have got it that way as well, 150.
And, you know, and then I believe most of my besides that, my issue was that I read it over and over and I couldn't understand it. I wasn't trying to make excuses for myself, but being a second language is kind of hard. You know, sometimes you go over and over and over and still don't get it.
Yeah, but I mean, you got it. It's just making sure that you know what you got is correct.
Okay.
And so that is part of the word problems, and that's one reason why I really try to go over the word problems, because if you just practice how to do the steps, it doesn't help when you actually get on the GED and there's all these word problems.
Right.
So, but you did well. You knew it was 156. And like I said, the more you expose yourself to the types of problems, after a while, it's going to get a little bit easier. All right, thank you for that one. Let's try number 14. Number 14 is worked out in a very similar fashion. You could do the same thing because you have a box there that has all the different requirements to make 10K of white gold. And so if you look at number 14 now, it says a white gold necklace was analyzed and found to contain 0.007 kilograms of nickel. Determine the quantity, excuse me, determine the quantity of pure gold in the necklace. So what 2 units are we comparing there from that box? This is for anyone. Nickel and pure gold, right?
Yes.
So you could, if you like proportions, you could write it as a proportion as nickel to gold or gold to nickel. It doesn't matter which way you write it as long as you're consistent. So which way would you guys prefer, nickel over gold or gold over nickel?
Nickel over gold.
I kind of heard 2, but I think I heard Salvador, you're the one who asked. I think you said gold to nickel.
Yes.
Okay, so gold to nickel. All right, so we have it as gold to nickel. And what is the original amount?
37.5 on gold.
Right, so the original amount of gold is 37.5. That's how much pure gold is needed. Right? What is the pure nickel?
1.4.
1.4, so that's for pure nickel. What is the amount of nickel that you will have in there?
0.007.
Right, and so where should we write that?
On the
bottom.
On the bottom, the same place where we put the nickel, the 1.4.
Okay. Right, so that's where we put it. And what are we trying to find?
The gold part.
The amount of
gold.
Pure gold. Now notice though, these are grams, and this one here is
kilograms.
Never ever work out a question. Oops. Never ever work out a question without changing the units all into the same one. So you must have your units to be the same first. So what can help you to do is to look at number 14. What unit is your final answer going to be in?
Grams.
Grams. They're all in grams. So you only have one choice, grams. So that means I need to change my kilograms into grams. And we used the previous example to help us. Remember, we had 156 grams was equal to how much kilograms?
0.056.
Right, so we could just do the opposite. If I have this many kilograms, what will that be in grams?
0.7.
0.7.
Okay, so you guys, you're getting there. So remember, we moved the decimal point over how many times?
3.
Twice.
3. So we want to move the decimal point over how many times?
3.
3 times. If I move it 3 times, what would it be?
7.
7.
Right. Just 2.
So now we have 1.4 grams equals to X over
7.
7 grams, right? So 1, 2, 3. Because that's what a kilo is. When people say kilo, you know, sometimes we hear it in movies and not always the good thing, but If you hear that in movies, that's what they're talking about, right? Kilograms. And they say kilos or keys, etc. So anyway, we get 7 grams there. And we're going to go ahead and now we can cross multiply because everything's in grams to find out what our X is. We could take out the grams if we need to, or leave it there. But when you multiply, you don't technically need to write them anymore. So 7 times 37.5.
Anda, los pinches moscos aquí.
That's going to be 262.5. And remember, that's grams. And then X times 1.4, 1.4X. Okay, and then we divide both sides by the 1.4. So over here, they cancel out. And 262.5 divided by 1.4 is going to give us 187.5 as our X. And what unit was that?
Grams.
Grams. And so now we need to look at our answer selection. And for number 14, which one is 187.5 grams?
C.
C. So there our answer would be C. Okay, any questions about number 14, how to set it up, why we might have done what was done there?
Same thing, Mr. Ray, procedure. Obviously, didn't even move the decimal on the 07 to convert kilograms into grams. So
Okay.
that was already the first issue.
Right, but now you should remember because, it's been done. And normally that's what all we need is just to see it over and over. All right, so the next question, I think, was number 17.
Yes.
Okay, number 17, so we'll do that next. I'm just going to mute everyone. I'm picking up some background conversations. And just remember, when you're ready, just turn on your mic. Okay, so let's go ahead with number 17. Did anybody need that? I'm sorry, I read without asking. Has everyone copied this down?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if I don't hear any others, I'm just going to move on. Okay, I didn't hear anything else, so excuse me. All right, number 17 says, well, first of all, they give you a box, and it's the same old box as the metric measures of capacity. So they show you 1 kiloliter is equal to 1,000 liters. 1 liter is equal to 100 centiliters, etc. Right, remember you could use those as ratios if needed. If you are given something, you could write it as a ratio and figure out what the multiple is. Okay, so number 17, was it 17 and 18 or just 17?
17.
Okay, so just number 17. So Kyle is decorating his restaurant with tropical fish tanks. 3 of the tanks each have a capacity of 448 liters of water. 2 of the tanks each have a capacity of 236 liters of water. How many kiloliters of water will Kyle need to fill all the tanks? So this one is a more straightforward one. If I have 3 tanks that have a capacity of 448 liters, how would I find out how many liters I have?
I think we cross multiply by 3.
Well, just a flat out question. Let's say, put yourself in this situation and you're going to the fish store. Let's say a child wanted some fish, and each of the tanks has 448 liters of water, and you're like, man, how much water will I need? Well, how much water will you need if you have 3 tanks that hold the same amount?
Add them all up.
Add them all up, right? So that'd be 448 plus 448 plus 448. What's a faster way to do that?
That would be
times it by 3, I heard somebody say. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how you can find the first one. But then you also have how many tanks?
5 tanks.
Well, the different measures. So we can't do 5 times unless they're all 5 are the same.
1340.
So you got two more of 236 liters. So you just add 236 plus 236, or times 2.
Right, or times it by 2, right? The long way would be 448 plus 448 plus 448 plus 236 plus 236. Shorter way is just to, condense them down using multiplication. All right, so we could multiply that by hand, but it's so much faster using a calculator. So 3 times 448 is going to give us 1,344. 44. And then 2 times 236 will give us 472. So this all represents liters of water. It's a lot of water. Think of a 2-liter soda compared to this much liters here, right? This is a 2-liter soda, big soda you get when you buy a pizza. There's 470 more liters. That's a lot, right? There's a lot of water. So we add all this up together, and if we add those two together,
1,816.
okay, so that's going to be 1,816 what?
Liters.
Liters. Okay, so we're done, right?
No. Oh, yeah.
No.
No. What does the final question ask us to do?
Kiloliters.
They wanted to put it into kiloliters. So what does the word kilo mean?
1,000.
1,000. So how much is that in kiloliters?
1.816.
There we go. And that should be easy without much calculation if we remember that a kilo means 1,000. So if I have 1,816 liters, then that's 1.816 kiloliters. And that's my final answer. So now I just need to pick the right choice. And which one would that be for number 17?
That'll be C.
That'll be C again. So another C. All right. Any questions there? All right. Was that the last one, or was it number? No, I think we did number 18, didn't we?
Someone asked for 24, Mr. Ray.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. 24. All right. So has everybody copied this down?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about this one?
No, sir.
No.
Nope. Okay. All right, so let's look at number 24. Number 24 is a time question. And so this is not necessarily the metric system. Yeah, it's no metric. This is the imperial units. They don't call it imperial units, U.S. customary units. So this one is outside of the metric system. So this is 24. At this rate, how many inches? Oh, sorry, you got to read the first part. There's a 2-part question on the directions there. So it says a particular type of bamboo plant can grow 39 inches in 24 hours. Number 23, we're skipping for now. And then number 24 says at this rate. Well, in order to do number 24, you're going to have to do number 23 first, it looks like.
No.
No. You could go straight.
It's easier.
Sorry, when I read it, it looked like when it said at this rate, it looked like it was continuing from number 23. But for number 24, it's just continuing from the instructions. So this one's very straightforward. It just says in 48 hours, how much time would have elapsed?
So
what is it? 24 hours is how long?
1 day.
1 day. How many?
1 day.
How much is 48 hours?
2 days.
2 days.
So then you're just doing what to your inches?
Multiply it by 2.
Right, and if you multiply 39 by 2?
78.
78. And that's your answer there. 78 inches. So that one was pretty straightforward. Normally the U.S. customary ones, inches and time, most people don't have a trouble as long as you don't confuse them with the metric system. So remember, the metric system is based off of tens and therefore hundreds and thousands, etc. and just knowing how to convert between them. All right, any other questions?
Nope.
Number 23 is actually a little bit harder than 24. Do you guys want to do number 23 instead? Well, also, let's do number 23. That one is actually more challenging. Says, how far would such a plant grow in 60 seconds? Now, there's two ways you could go about this. You could go in a series of dividing, or you're comparing two sets of stuff. So what can you do when you're comparing two sets of stuff there?
I just went with the division, Mr. Ray, to get
Okay,
my
that's
answer.
fine. If you went by division, you're just doing like multiple division techniques there. So what did you do to get to your final answer?
I just divide 39 by 24, and then they give me that 1 hour, and then the 1 hour by 60, and then they give me the 1 minute, which is 60 seconds.
And you kept dividing by 60?
I believe when I did the 1 hour, when I was at 1 hour and then divided by 60, I only did it once because the answer was 60. The 1 hour is 60 minutes. When I divided again by 60, it gave me the seconds.
Okay, so did you get a final answer?
Yeah, I got it here in my book.
Okay. Anyone else wants to give a shot?
How far? So it can go 60 seconds.
Somewhere here. I think I have to do it again.
All right. Well, what we could do is I'm just going to stick to consistency. We could do a proportion.
Proportions, yeah.
Proportions are always the cleanest way. And as long as you set it up in a logical manner, you should be okay, as long as you also remember your units. So you could set it up as inches as your regular time in terms of inches to hours, or the other way around. You could do either or, inches to hours. You could set it up that way, or hours to inches. Right? So what was your initial inches and your initial hour?
39
Inches 39 and hours 24.
All right, now there's only one problem though. What do you notice about your final answers?
They're all inches.
Well, not your final answer, sorry. The question. Your question's in what?
Seconds.
Seconds. So that means you're comparing inches to seconds in the final answer. So you need to convert. You never want to work with different units. So you can either convert your seconds to hours or your hours to seconds. Which one you think would be easier?
Hours to seconds?
Hours to seconds would be easier. You try to do seconds to hours, though you're dealing with a lot of small numbers there. So that means we want a new proportion there. We want inches to seconds. So how many seconds are in 24 hours? You're going to have to work that out on the side.
Got that Siri.
Well, how many seconds are in an hour? Minutes are in an hour, first of all.
60.
60 seconds.
How many seconds are in a minute?
60.
60.
So you could do that. You can convert it into minutes. You can convert it to hours. Either one. But actually, I just noticed something. That's at 60 seconds. So how much is 60 seconds?
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute. So we don't have to put it in seconds. We can leave it as a minute. Right? So how many minutes are in an hour? That would be the easier one.
60.
60 minutes.
Right, 60 minutes in an hour. So how many hours altogether?
24.
And so what would you do there to find out how many minutes?
60 times 24.
Right, you could do 60 times 24, and you could have it in minutes. And that way it's to work out. All right, so we have that. What is it? We're looking for how many inches, right?
Yes.
And how many?
1 minute.
1 minute, right? So we could just write it as 1. And then we can cross multiply there. So we're gonna have 39 is equal to 1440x, right? Cross multiply there. And then divide both sides by 1440. And if we do that, we get a nice long answer there. What answer do we get?
1 second.
X would be equal to?
I got 1.625.
For 39 divided by 40?
That's 0.027.
Oh, sorry, I did it by
Equals 0.027.
Right, we're gonna just stop there. There's some more numbers that will follow that. It's like 0, 8, blah, blah, blah. But you can see already which one your answer will be there. Which one will your answer be?
D.
D. All right, so that's your answer. Now you could have done it with hours. You could have done a little bit of stuff there, but I just figured minutes would be easier, writing it as there's 60 seconds in a minute, and that's how long it was taking, 1 minute. You could do it in hours, you could do it in seconds. As long as your ratio proportions are set up in the proper equivalencies, you can get the answer whichever way you try it. Any questions about that one?
Nope.
Does it make sense? Is it starting to make sense how to use your ratios along with the other stuff that you're doing?
Yes, it's making a lot more sense right now, Mr. Ray, that we're doing a couple more.
Okay, that's good.
With the proportion part.
All right, excuse me. Any other questions regarding the material, excuse me, dealing with the metric system, the measurements, etc.? All right,
Mr. Ray,
I muted myself. So I'll say that again. If there are any other questions regarding
right now, this problem we're just doing the 39 over 1440. We eliminate the 1440 on the right side of the equation. How do we get the 0.027?
You divide 39 by 1440.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did it backwards.
Yeah, right there.
No, there you go. I did it the other way around.
1440 divided by 39.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah. Be careful
got
of
it.
the order.
I did it the other way.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
No problem. Is anyone wondering how we got 1440 for our minutes?
Just screenshot this.
Now we know how many minutes are on one day, Mr. Ray.
Oh, yeah. If somebody asks you, you could say, oh, I already know that. It's 1440. You'd be like, wow, you did that so fast. Like, yep. Okay, it looks like there are no other questions. Everybody is ready to ace measurements. All right. So let's see. Do we have one where everybody could try it on their own? I might end up picking one that you've already done. Let's see. I don't think I did number 18 at all. If I did, you have the answer already. So let's try number 18. Can you do number 18 by yourself from start to finish?
Microbiology.
I'll read it one more time just in case anyone needs that assistance with it. Excuse me. It says microbiologist gathered 15 vials. A vial is like a small container. So 15 vials of pond water. They filled 5 vials with 10 millimeters of pond water each, 5 vials with 1 millimeter of pond water each, and 5 vials with 1/10 of a millimeter of pond water each. How many centiliters of pond water did they gather in all? So remember, look at your last part of your question, as that normally helps you to know what to do. So I give about, let's say about, let's start off at like about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. and see if everybody could get that.
Mr. Ray, I sent you my answer. But you're on mute.
Yeah, I just saw that. Actually, I was sending you a response right before you did it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, do you want me to explain it to you now or after?
No, I'm into the class. Do you want to do it to the class?
Oh, if you want me to, I can.
Yeah, I do. I do. I know most people don't want to, but if you don't mind, it will help you out.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind.
All right, great.
Now, or do you want to?
No, once I get a few more answers in.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right, so,
let me know. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, since Justine was the first person to get it to me and correct, I was going to let her explain how to do it. So once everybody's answers come in, or you fix an answer I tell you to fix, she's going to give us an explanation of how she got to it.
Mr. Ray, I think you've seen my answer. I'll send my answer to you. Have you seen my answer?
All right.
You said, did you send it? I don't
Yeah, I've
see
seen it. You've seen it?
Not in the chat.
Yeah, on that chat.
That made me feel good. I looked at it at first. I didn't think I could do it. I did it in my head.
Yeah, there you go. Sometimes it's that easy. It's just that, you know, we're thinking it's going to be hard.
Yeah, to me, the word problems are the ones that just, yeah, those are the ones that get me.
Yeah, and that's why we want to practice as many as possible. You don't shy away from word problems. You want to try to tackle them. The more you tackle them, the more confident you'll be around them. All right. It looks like I got a good bit of answers in, so I'm going to go ahead and allow Justine to start to explain how she got her answer. So, Justine, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and so you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, what I did was, since there was 5 vials with 10 milliliters in each, I multiplied 5 times 10. The same for 5 times 1. And the same for 5 times 0.1. I added them together and I got 55.5 milliliters. But it's asking here that it wanted to know the centiliters. So then I had to convert that to the centiliters, so I moved the decimal back 1 place.
And that is correct. I was just trying to keep up with what you were saying, and that would be the correct answer. And what answer was that? That would be D.
Oh, 5.55 CL.
Right, 5.5 centiliters there. All right, and that is correct because they were all in milliliters. You could just multiply the amount that were there. So 5 times 10 milliliters plus 5 times 1 milliliter plus 5 times 0.1 milliliters, which gave 55.5 milliliters, which then, if you convert it back to centiliters, and you could use any method that we went over, using the decimal points, using fractions, using the understanding of the decimal place value, whatever it is that you have mastered, hopefully, to convert the milliliters back into centiliters. All right, so I think we have done enough now in our measurement system. We're not going to go to lesson 2 yet in this book. We're going to skip right over to unit 3, if there are no other questions, that is. And I'll give you a short opportunity to do that. Any questions before we move on? All right, I believe we had done a bit. Did we touch on squares and cubes already?
No.
I thought I'd done that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I thought so. We did a little bit of squares already, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I asked you to write out the square numbers.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we started with the square root.
I haven't done that, sir, so I guess it wasn't here.
So I think I might have stopped at the squares then.
Yeah, no, you did start a little bit with the square roots, Mr. Ray.
You went, yes, you did go a little bit into square roots.
Okay.
With the calculator, though, you were explaining how to go through it in the calculator.
And I did cube roots as well, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
All right. I'll do a quick recap for those who might not have been here and those who might have been physically here, but not here.
All of us.
I caught on to that one.
All of us, Mr. Ray. Well, at least I speak for myself, my bad.
No problem. But I mean, it's going in there. Most times we just don't realize it. So like I used to say to a lot of students, especially when you're testing, sometimes the first answer that comes to your head is sometimes it's correct because it's actually in there. You just don't realize it's in there. And sometimes we're not confident enough to realize that it's in there, if you get what I'm saying. So sometimes you're like, this is what I would do, but I know it's not right. And then the teacher works it out, and you're like, man, I was going to do that. I knew that. right? So sometimes we just got to build the confidence. Because it's there, we just got to get you guys to be confident in that. All right, so let me just write back somebody real fast. All right, so I'm going to reshare my screen. And like I said, we're moving on to Unit 3. So in the student book, we're skipping over all of the rest of Unit 2 for now. We're going over to Unit 3. We're skipping a little bit of the algebra, and we are going to Lesson 3. We stopped around here. We're not going to do any of the word problems yet. We're going to come back to that in algebra. Right now, we just want to learn how to use squares and square roots. So I'm just going to put up some questions on the screen. You can use your calculators, of course, if you want. So what I want you to do is to calculate or evaluate, either one, same thing. So calculate the following. Number one, I want you to find the square root of, hold on real fast, let me put some numbers there. Find the square root of 625. 600, it's supposed to be a 5. All right, 620, what in 625? Okay, that's a 5. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is we're going to do, I'm pretty sure we did cube roots as well. We're going to find the cube root of 9,261. Number 3, we're going to find what is, let's say, 153 squared. Put some big numbers up here. And then number 4, what is 313 cubed? Last of all, what happens when we get something like, let me see. Square root of 45. All right, so that's what we're going to work out right now.
Mr. Ray, I think I'm stuck on number 2. I forgot how to do it on my calculator. Number 2.
Number 2.
I'm done with the
Has
other
everyone
one.
written this down? Because if I go to the calculator, this will disappear. So let me see if I can show you how to do it by buttons. You're gonna have to push the number 3 first in order to get to cube. Once you do that, you're gonna have to hit the second button so that you can get to your next one. I have to look at the screen real fast. My calculator is different than yours. Okay, once you hit that, you're gonna hit the caret button.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that button for anybody else, that's
Got
gonna
it.
be your X root button. Right, when you hit the second, it allows you to get to that. And then you just put the number in, 9,261.
Do we send it our answers or?
Yeah, you could send your answers in the chat.
I can see number 5.
You cannot see it?
No, I don't know.
Is your screen maximized to its?
Yes, it's maximized.
Oh, that's true. Are you on a phone or tablet?
It's computer, desk computer.
That's
And it's
different. You should be able to see everything that's on the screen. The only thing I can think of is just to make sure that it's maximized on the top.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Got 'em all done. Mr. Ray, am I doing something wrong if the answer for number 5 is not actually a number, it's in a different
Yeah, if you do it on a calculator, you will get some weird answer, yes.
Okay, so that should be my answer. Okay, that did like 4 times.
Yeah, I was wondering too, what is this?
Yeah, that was there for a reason.
Okay. Okay, so I'm done.
Hey, that's good. And now I just need to see the done answers.
Okay, let me send them. Number 1 is
Hey, Kenado.
Yeah.
Did you get the answer?
Well, like for number 5?
Yeah.
Well, the one I keep getting is
Okay. So that's what you're using as an answer?
Actually, I was gonna wait till Mr. Frey explained it.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Ray, I don't know how to send in number 5.
You can write what you know it to be. Like, just write what you see.
Okay.
Let's see.
I think I got it.
Yeah, number 5 equals. Okay, let me see.
Okay, so I see you got the answer, Gennaro. You just wasn't sure how to write it.
Yeah.
So you could say it. I'm not going to say it out loud yet.
Okay.
So that's how you could have wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm not seeing a lot of answers from the amount of people that's in here. So don't be afraid to send in something.
How do you say that again? Oh.
So yeah, answer Latavia.
Okay.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
I got some answers, but I'm on my phone, so I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know
So
how to.
how to
Yeah, I
get it
don't
in
know how
there?
to. Yeah, I can't send them.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for letting me know.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
I also got some numbers here. I'm not sure if they're good though, so I'll just wait until you explain them and see if I got them right.
Okay, you can always send them in, see what we got. I just want to see how many people are getting close to the answers.
I'll send you some.
All right, thank you.
Get on clear. Oh. This one's different.
So I did not split them, but I mean you can tell each answer, and then the last one it's a little different than that.
Okay.
At least from what I got here.
All right, so I see what you're trying to do for the last one. You wrote it like Gennaro did, but I see you got the same answer there.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say it either.
How were they able to send the answers for number 5?
Okay, so some of you are having trouble sending 5. I'm seeing answers come in. This is what I wanted. A bit more. So a good bit of you are having trouble with if you're having trouble. Some are having trouble with number 2. And of course, number 5. And then a few with number 4. All right, so that just gives you a better
answers though.
Hey, Mr. Ray.
Yes.
I sent in mine. Does it look all right?
I was just getting to answer you as well. I was trying to go. I just had a slew of answers pop in.
All of a sudden, everybody answered, huh?
Yeah. Well, I sent some private messages. I say I don't see anything. So now people are sending back their answers.
How can I do it on my laptop?
All right, Jacob.
Maybe those are using their phone.
Oh, okay, I see. Your numbers are bunched in with your answer, so it's throwing me off.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so first I thought you had decimal points. I was like, what happened? I see them now. All right. Okay, you put it as a decimal answer, so you knew how to convert it?
Well, I figured that the answer it was giving me in the calculator was giving me the cube of 5, so I just went and did that too.
Okay.
Was that okay?
Yeah, it's a decimal answer. Let me just make sure what it is again.
I got 3 radical 5.
Okay. Oh, you're saying it. You're saying it properly, actually. Who taught you how to say that? You just knew how to say it, or you just tried it?
Because I did it in college, in school.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was gonna say you knew how to say it properly. And Adriana, I see you did number 4. How did you know to get that answer that way? You can send it to me in the chat if you need to. Just wondering how you knew to write. Sorry, number 5. How did you know to write number 5 that way? Jacob, that last one, it's not a multiplication, so it's actually, it's not an addition. It's a multiplication. So you're gonna have to multiply that by 3. So I see what you did. You just did the 5 part, I think. No, you did the 3. I see. You did the root 3. That's root 3 answer. All right, so I'm gonna start going over the answers now that I've seen most of you sent in answers. All right, just laughing at some of the statements that were sent back. All right, so let's go ahead and start with number 1. And you might have to remind me, I'm gonna have to switch over to my calculator screen, and if I can write these in, I might remember the order. All right, so, and if I forget, you guys are there to help me out. All right, so if I go over to the calculator, this is how you see the need of the calculator comes in when you're dealing with those larger numbers. So for the first one, most people got that correct. Remember to type that in. You hit second, and then the X squared button to get that square root. And 625, you just type in 625. And if you hit enter, you should get 25. The square root of 625 is 25. And the opposite, 25 squared, will give you 625. All right, so the second one, oh man, I just cleared everything. That wasn't smart. The second one was, I think, a cube root.
Yes, 3.
Mr. Ray,
yeah.
Can you explain that one to me, please, again? The 625, and then you put second, and then you put which one you did?
Oh, so we hit second first.
Uh-huh.
And then the X squared button, where the square root sign is.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that. Okay.
All right, and then 625, and then enter.
Okay.
All right, the second number was the cube root
21.
of, what was it? Cube root of?
21. 9261.
9261. All right, so the cube root of 9,261. The first thing you have to do is hit the 3 button. That allows you to say the cube root. So you must hit 3 first, then the second button, so that you can get to the root button.
Oh, got it. So the answer is 21.
Yeah, the answer is going to be 21. So it's 3, second, and then the caret button. That gets you to cube root. And then you type in 9,261. Hit enter, and then you get a nice 21 there.
I got that one right.
All right, that's good. Yeah, a good bit of you got the first 2 right. That's really good. And like I said, I kind of cleared the next one by mistake. I think it was like 153 squared, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so 153 squared, that should be easier. Don't have to hit any second buttons, just hit the square button there, and then hit enter. You can get 23,409.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next one is a cube. I just found it in my calculator. So 313 cubed was the one. To do the cube, you don't hit the square button, you hit the one right above it. I was always taught that it was called caret. So you hit the caret button, and up pops the little exponent box. And then in there, you can type in 3. Hit enter, and you get that nice large number. Now, you're asked to say these numbers. Do you guys remember how to say this number?
30,664,297. 1,297.
All right, that's correct. 30,664,297. That was the first lesson we ever did.
Yeah.
Those numbers.
I used to say it the other way. You told us not to. That's why I paused. Like, wait a minute.
Really? Yeah, I used to say and all that.
Yes, I did.
All right, but remember on the GED they don't allow for that because they go by the proper way of saying the numbers, and the and is the decimal point. All right, and the that was 4. The last one was the square root of 45, and if you put it into the calculator, the square root of 45 does not yield a nice answer.
6.7.
Now it yields what we call a radical, and this radical is because this is not a perfect square underneath. There's also a way to get it as a decimal, and you can just type a decimal number in there. You can say square root of 45 and just put a decimal point, and that can allow you to get to your decimal answer by putting the decimal point there. But this is now where we transition to the 3 root 5 or 3 radical 5. You won't find it in the textbook, but it does appear on the test. And so I don't have anywhere I can tell you to go. Sometimes it may appear while we're working. I think in Pythagorean theorem in unit 4, you work out some questions and all of a sudden you see the answer is going to be like 3 root 5 or 2 root 2. And you're like, how do I get that, right? Well, that's what's happening. So we're going to review how we do that by hand as well. Generally, you're not asked to do it by hand, but you never know. So let's review how to do that. Remember, when we first started, if you weren't here, this is your opportunity now to do that. We went over what is the squares. And we said 1 squared literally means 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 squared means 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9. I'm not going to write the other stuff anymore. 4 squared, we said, is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36, and so forth, right? 7 squared is 49, and 8 squared is 64. 9 squared is 81. 10 squared is 100. 11 squared is 121. And 12 squared is 144. I said to you, you want to know those because it really comes in handy. So if you haven't written out the first 12 squares, you want to do that. Now, once we do that, and we have what the perfect squares are, that's what we call them. The results are called perfect squares. And they're really nice. So when I do the opposite, if I'm trying to find the square root of a number, the only way I get a whole number is if I'm taking the square root of a perfect square. Now, there are an infinite amount of perfect squares because you can go on forever squaring each number by itself or multiplying a number by itself. So you go on forever finding all the different perfect squares. But we only need to know about the first 12 in order to get our answers in this format. All right, so make sure you have the perfect squares because we're going to use them in order to rewrite answers that way. So remember, when I take the square root of numbers, I say the square root of 4, what should that equal just looking at this little chart I have?
2.
2. If I take the square root of 9, what does that equal?
3.
3. If I take the square root of 16, what does that equal?
4.
And so forth, right? The square roots are the opposite. So we don't divide when we're dealing with the squares. We take the square root. All right, so we're going to use that concept to simplify square root 45. Now, the reason why is when you take the square root of perfect squares, you get regular numbers. However, if I choose a number that's in between that, let's say 8 or 7 or 6 or 5, if I try to take the square root of any of these, I cannot get whole numbers. And not only that, the decimal numbers I get, they go on forever, like literally forever. So if I was to show you square root 45 on my computer calculator, let me just bring that up real fast. Because my computer processor is much stronger than my actual calculator, than any of your calculators, then you could try this on your computer as well.
Mr. Ray, I think your network is breaking.
My network?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Is that
I was gonna ask.
Me too. I can't hear you. You're breaking.
You're breaking up.
Yeah. I thought it was my computer.
Say that again?
I thought it was me, but everyone's having the same issue. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like normally I would get a notification that. How about now? Is it better now?
When you talk, it breaks up.
It's the same.
No, it went dead.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Can hear.
I'm just trying to see, you know, on my side, it's like making it seem like everything's fine. But, you know, with all this COVID-19 stuff, everything is going crazy.
Yeah.
All right, can you guys hear me now? Any better?
Yes, a little bit better. Yes.
Little better?
Still
All right, I'm just going to try to go. Hopefully, my writing is coming up clearly, and you can fill in the gaps, hopefully, and it just catches.
It's just your voice.
I'm supposed to have fiber internet. I'm supposed to be really fast.
Oh my goodness, I can't hear anymore.
I can't hear anything.
No.
All right. Well, I'm just going to try to go through. So just try to watch and see if it makes sense. All right. So square root of, can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm just going to talk and hopefully it just comes through.
It's Ray, lower your voice a little bit. Maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me better?
Yes.
Can you
No.
hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, a little better.
So it wasn't really me lowering my voice. It just happened to happen at the same time. I just
Mr.
want
Ray,
to
you
see,
frozen.
should I whisper or should I
Frozen.
talk?
Oh, better now.
So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it was just circumstantial. All right, so let's try it out. Hopefully it just stays. So if I take the square root of any number that is not a perfect square, I get a decimal number that goes on forever. Did everybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay, so because of that, it's hard to round numbers when that happens. And
Mr.
sorry,
Ray's frozen.
I'm frozen now. Hello?
I could see you.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
What's
He's frozen. I can't even hear anything.
What's probably happening, I think all of us are probably going to be having issues. And part of the reason is this is peak hour. So between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. I used to work at intern at an electric company. This is the peak hour when everybody's coming home and coming on the internet. And that's when everything is used. So that's normally when the internet can get a little bit unstable. So you might be having troubles and I'm having troubles. So we're having a combination of troubles here. Hopefully we could get through the rest of this. Did everybody just hear that statement?
Yes.
I can hear you perfectly fine now.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Maybe it was
Much
just
better.
a 5-minute problem. All right. So if I was to bring this up on my scientific calculator on my computer, I took the square root of 45. You can't see it yet. I'm going to bring it up in a moment. And I'm going to share my computer calculator. Notice how many digits are there for square root 45. Just went up. And that's because my computer, and your computer too, has a stronger processor, so it can do more calculations and therefore have more digits. If we got an even stronger calculator, those digits go on, and we call those numbers irrational numbers. They don't have an end. They go on forever. And because of that, when we try to do calculations with them, the numbers can come out a little bit different. So if I times this one by 3, it's going to be a little bit different than if you could look at it really carefully, you might see the little difference. If I now switch over here and times this one by 3, there's a slight little difference there, and you might not notice it, but there is. And what's happening is it can throw off measurements. So let's say you worked for NASA or for Boeing or Lockheed Martin, one of these places where precision is really important, where life and death really comes into play if one digit is messed up. Then you don't want to deal with these decimal numbers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what we do is we keep them in what we call exact value. And that's what your calculator does when you say the square root of, when you take the square root of 45, instead of writing it as one of these decimals that go on forever, it gets you an exact value, which we call a radical or a root. And this is how we do it. The rules to simplify these is that you're simply, number one, going to find a factor, find a perfect square factor. And then number 2, I'm just going to put simplify. And hopefully with the working, you'll see how it works. So we have the number square root 45, and we're going to find a perfect square factor that can go into this radical. That's what we call these things. We can call them radicals or roots, just to make it easier. So does anyone know a perfect square? Remember what I said the perfect squares are, that can go into the number 45. Remember the perfect squares are 1, hopefully you have it written out and ready. 4, right? 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36. Any of these perfect squares can go into square root 45.
Yeah.
49.
45.
Say that again.
36.
36.
How many times can 36 go into 45 evenly? Remember, that's what a factor is.
6.
36 times 6 is 45?
36.
No, 1 time.
Is that a factor? Because 36 times 1 is not 45. Remember, a factor is a number when multiplied by another whole number gives you the value you're looking for. So it's not 36. 49 is too large, and so all the other perfect squares don't work.
9.
9. And that's actually the perfect square factor that goes. Yes, 9. So how many times can 9 go to 45? 5. So we write it as 9 times the square root of 5. Now we keep them as square roots because square root 9 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 45.
Oh, wow.
But what is the square root of 9 equal to?
What was the question? You're breaking
What
up
is
again.
the square root of 9 equal to?
3.
3. So we have 3 times the square root of 5, and that's our answer that the calculator gives.
Oh.
What?
Do we have to know that one, Mr. Ray?
How did we get that 3?
Do we have
3
to know?
is because the square root of 9.
Times 3 is 9. So that's okay, get it. Yeah.
Right? And so if I was to write out how we get the perfect squares, remember 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So the square root of 9 is equal to 3.
So we simplify the 9 and leave the 5 alone, right?
We leave the 5 alone, yes. Now, this will pop up in Unit 4 and Unit 3 a lot. Like I said, there's no section in the book. So as far as I know, there's nowhere in the book where you can find any work. It just pops and appears. So sometimes when we're working out, we see it. Veronica, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Mr. Ray, is there any possibility we can do it manually without a calculator?
Yeah, that's what we just did.
I've not got it. Like the 625 to do it manually without the calculator, the use of calculator.
Well, 625 is a perfect square, but normally you just have to kind of work it out in your head. You try to think of perfect squares that can go into there. And what you see is that you do the same thing. And with 625, you're going to see two perfect squares that's just going to work your way down. So like, but you don't have to worry about those ones manually. When you get an answer, that's what you want to do is just learn how to do this in your calculator. So like, for instance, let's just do 625. So let's say you get the square root of 625. We know that the square root of 625 is going to give us 25. But if you're going to use the same rule, you try to see what perfect square can go into 625. And I'm just for time's sake, it's 25
times 25.
times 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. And the other square root of 25 is 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. And that's why it comes right back down to 25.
I don't, let me see.
All right.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
I know that we're a little bit ahead, but I feel a little bit behind on the number 3, that 153 on the square root of that, or the 2. Can we go back to the 3 and 4? I didn't want to stop you because I know you keep going and everybody was kind of following along.
Okay.
That was problem number 3 and 4 on the original one. So you have.
You said like how to put it in the calculator?
Yes.
I don't remember what it was. What 153 squared? You said?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you do 153, and then hit the square button right there. That's highlighted.
That's it.
That's it, and hit enter.
I don't have to press second or anything?
Nope. The second is for the green stuff, and the green stuff there is the root is there. That's the square root, and this one represents the x root. So whatever number you put first.
And then same thing for the other one, huh? I put 3, 1, 3, and then hit the second, and then the one right above it, right?
Well, you don't have to hit second. You just hit the button right there.
Oh, okay, okay. So that'll be, let me see, 3, 1, 3, and then
hit the 3.
And then 3, and then enter. Got it.
Enter, yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't want to interrupt because we were doing pretty good there.
Oh, okay. And Veronica, did that help? I think that's what you might have been asking, because I didn't understand your question, but I think you might have been asking the same thing.
Yeah.
Can you do that again? I'm sorry.
I got it.
Okay, perfect. And Justine, are you asking me to do the same thing?
Yes, please. I just did 3 times. I just did it manually, differently, because I couldn't figure out the 3.
So once again, to do 313 cubed?
Yes.
So you do 313, just type that in. And then you hit this caret button that's highlighted red. Once you do that, it creates an exponent, and you put whatever number you need to put in, which in this case is 3. And then you hit enter.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're going to actually do that some more. We're going to be practicing exponents next lesson on Thursday. And all this is building up so we could do actual calculations with geometry, such as you have a box and you're trying to figure out what the dimension is if you're given the volume, etc. So in order to do that, you need to know how to work this calculator pretty well. All right? Any questions with the calculator? Because we're about to do some practicing with the radicals.
I'm good. That was my question there, Mr. Ray. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's try some. We're going to simplify. Now, simplify just means to make it simple. And whenever it's a radical that you cannot find a value, we're going to do it in the calculator and by hand. So for the first one, we're we're going to do the square root of 27. Square root of 27 will not give you an exact value. So how do we find it? We're going to do it by hand and then check it with calculator. Number 2, we'll put over here so I have more room. Number 2 is going to be the square root of, let's say, 72. And then number 3, we're going to do the square root of, let's make it a little bit harder, 128. And then a nice easy one at the end. Number 4. I need more space. And then number 4, another easy one, square root of 18. All right, so I'll start it off because, it might have been a little bit challenging. So remember, you're looking for the perfect squares that can go into the number. And you're going to write them as radicals. And radicals means with the square root sign or any root for that matter. So what is a perfect square number that can go into square root 27?
5.
5 is not a perfect square.
What, 3?
3 is not a perfect square either. Remember, the perfect squares are the results after you square a number.
Oh.
9.
Did I hear it? 9?
9? Yeah.
Yeah, 9 is that number. Square root 9 times the square root 3. To give you square root 27.
We have 25.
So, pardon?
25.
25. 25. I'm not sure what you're asking, George.
He's thinking what we thought, 5 times 5 equals 25. And obviously that wasn't the answer.
Oh, did I write, does it look like 5 for number 1?
No, Mr. Ray, we made that up ourselves. Oh, I did.
Okay. So it's square root of 27, just a reminder for anyone else. The square root of 27.
It's not 27, it's not a perfect square.
Right, it's not a perfect square. Remember I said as easy as it is, people will forget.
I think I got 3 radical 3.
Okay, there we go.
How'd you get radical 3?
Right?
Don't distract me.
Square root 9 is 3, and then root 3. And that's our answer. Now, if we try it in the calculator, right, we have the square root of 27, just second, square root, type in the 27, hit enter, and you get the same answer. Any questions for number 1?
Not anymore.
Okay, that's good. Let's see if you guys can do number 2.
How do we come to the 3?
The square root of 9 is equal to 3.
Yeah, okay. Then we have imperfect square like 27. That's why I still have doubt.
Right. You cannot take the square root of 27 because it's not a perfect square.
Okay.
And remember, if you get a decimal answer, that decimal answer goes on forever. So if you want accurate calculations, you need to rewrite it in its radical form. And most calculators, we can work them out for that way. All right, how about number 2? What is a perfect?
Number 2 is 6 radical 2.
Okay, and how are you getting there?
36 radical 2.
Okay, I heard square root 36 times square root 2.
Yeah, because 36 is a perfect square.
Right.
Then you bring it down, and then 2, then the 2.
Right, and so square root of 36 is equal to 6, and then the root 2. Okay, Justine, I'm seeing you sent your answers in. All right, and hopefully you guys are all doing this by hand and then checking the calculators as well. And I see some decimal answers. We're trying to do these without the decimal answers. Sometimes they ask you for decimal, and if you want a decimal, you type it in with a decimal point. So for instance, let's say you get square root 27 and the answers are in decimal form and they're asking you to round your answer. You do second square root 27 and then just hit a decimal point and you get that. But for now, we're asking for the exact values. So we want those answers in radical form.
Is my phone ringing?
I'm just gonna mute everyone real fast. And then just unmute once you're ready. All right, so we did number 2. So if you do number 2 in the calculator, we do second, right? Hit the x squared button. That's where the root is. So second root, and then type in 72, hit enter, and you see you get the same answer you worked out. Ask to do it by hand. You can get it by hand or by calculator. All right, the square root of 128, what will that equal? What perfect square can go into 128?
Remember, you have shit.
If you have the perfect squares next to you, that can make it easier. So you see here, I have 3 squared is 9, and 4 squared is equal to 16, and 5 squared is equal to 25, 6 squared is equal to 36.
11, Mr. Ray.
11 for
3. Yeah?
Well, oh, 11, it goes into 121. So 11 squared is 121.
Is it 8? Is
8 as a final answer, or 8 as
2?
Okay, I heard the final answer, but how do we get there?
2?
That's the final answer, but how do we get to that answer?
I get 64 radical 2 and then 8 radical 2.
There we go, right? 64 is half of 128, and 64 is a perfect square. So we say square root 64, which is the perfect square that can go into 128. How many times can it go?
2.
2 times. And then we can take the square root of 64, which is 8, and root 2. Okay, so there we have, if we type it into the calculator, remember doing that last just to check our answer. Second, hit the square root button, 128, hit enter, and we get the same answer. 8 root 2, 8 radical 2, depending on how you learned it. Any questions so far?
No.
All right, it's a high chance that you won't have to worry about doing this by hand, but you never know, and every question helps. We've had students who missed 1 point and didn't pass, so every part helps, and if you're paying attention, there's no reason why you can't, if you're taking the test already, jump your score up by 10, 15, 30 points, especially if you remember how to use the calculator. All right, this last one here is a little bit easier. Obviously, because you're dealing with 18, you're dealing with the smaller numbers. So which perfect square can go to square root 18?
9.
I heard it. 9, yeah. So square root 9. And where's my pen? So that's square root 9 times the square root of what?
2.
2. And what does the square root of 9 equal?
3 and 2.
3, and not just 2, but square root 2. You can say root 2, or you can say radical 2. So you can say 3 root 2 or 3 radical 2. Either one lets you know the final answer. And once again, if you put it into your calculator, that's just the square root of 18. Make sure you hit second. Square root 18, and you get the 3 root 2. All right, any questions there?
Mr. Ray, I guess it's a question. So, like 27 number 1. So the 27, obviously we don't have the perfect square root, so we'll find 9 because 9 is a perfect square root.
Right.
And then to get the 27, we get 3. So 9 times 3 equals 27.
Right.
So obviously, yeah. And then we simplify, we get the square root of 9, which will be 3 times 3 equals 9. So then we get square root 3 times square root 3 equals 27. Is that correct? Am I getting the answer? We find a perfect square that fit into the number, into the squared number that we're trying to, that you give us. Is that right?
Right. The first part's right. There's just that last part there. Square root 9 is equal to 3. So you don't want to say square root 3.
Okay, so square 9 equal to 3 because 3 times 3 is actually 9. Is that correct or no?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. So all those numbers, it actually is just giving us, that's what we had to find.
Right, you're just using your understanding of perfect squares to make it a little bit easier to write down.
Got it.
All right, so your calculator is naturally just going to give it to you in radical form. Remember, there's only about 5 to 7 questions that they ask you to do by hand, and like almost 50 questions. The questions can change, so it's hard to say. It's about 49. Some people will have more than 49 questions. Some will have less than 49 questions. So because of that, some people will have a little bit more questions by hand and some will have a little less. So somewhere between 5 to 10 or so questions by hand. Now, some of those questions by hand could be Pythagorean theorem, which we're going to get into soon, and also other questions that deal with square roots. So right now, we're just learning the foundation. As I've said many times, everything that we learn is building upon Unit 1. So if you're having trouble, you need to go back to Unit 1. And I did say I was going to stop posting the videos up. I haven't done that yet, so forgive me. I'm going to try to get those videos up on YouTube. So if you're interested in watching the 2 hours again, I'll have them up by title. And you can just find a title for that unit and review and do the working as well. So I'll try to have that up soon. It takes a little while to upload, so just bear with me as I have to go there, find them, upload them. But that way you can watch the videos again if need be. All right, I'm going to try to send a worksheet of practicing this. On Thursday, make sure you have your calculators again. We're going to learn how to do scientific notation and other exponents. And all of this is essential. Please try to study every night. If you can just carve out time, at least 20 minutes a day. And if you don't like to study on the weekends, then that's fine, as long as you're doing 20 minutes at least a day during the weekdays. That's enough to remember everything that we're doing. If you don't study, what's going to happen, all the information that we're learning, Unit 1 and all that, is going to start to dissipate. Your brain's going to say it's not important. Get away with this. And then when the test comes, you're like, I remember doing this in class, but I don't remember what to do. And that's because your brain said, this is not important, throw it in the back. So you need to tell your brain, you know what, brain, this is important because I want to pass this thing. I'm done with GD. I want to pass it. I want to be done. And so, brain, I want this up front. And so that means 20 minutes at the least a day of reviewing the information, explaining it to someone. What Salvador just did is called processing. Can you re-explain it, right? Can you re-explain what was just explained to you? If you can't, it means you don't have a thorough understanding, and that's why you ask questions. If you don't want to ask the questions aloud, please send them to me on the chat. Just say, Mr. Ray, can you explain that again? I read it, I won't say who said it, and I just repeat it. All right? So we're going to pick up on Thursday. Look out for the worksheet to appear and try that with your calculator and by hand. If there's no other questions, you guys are officially dismissed. Enjoy your evening with your family and friends, and be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray, can I ask the question, please?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any way, because I'm still having problem with the conversion, like the one we did before now? Like, right. I'm having difficulty in understand. It's not I don't understand it. Maybe I'm trying to be lazy because it's been a while. Okay. Is there any way you can send
radicals?
Not the radicals, the metric system and all that, the convert, the capacity, the weight.
Metric. The metric, I believe, is to use the prefixes to help you. But the thing is, they are word questions. So first you have to understand what they're asking you. So they can vary. You never know what type of questions could pop up. So you have to make sure you understand what is the question asking you. Is it asking you just to add? Like the very last question was 5 vials at 10 milliliters plus 5 vials at 1 milliliter plus 5 vials at 1/10 of a millimeter. And so something like that is completely different than the one where we have to use ratios. And so what you're seeing there, once we leave Unit 1, is a combination of different things from Unit 1. So you might just be adding. In another case, it might just be multiplication. In another place, you might be using ratios. but you're using all of them within the context of the metric system.
Okay, okay, got it.
So when you read the question, try to it's hard to underline, but if you have a notepad, because they give you a marker and a whiteboard, try to write down the important things. If you can, replace them with just regular numbers like 2, 3, and 5, and see, am I adding these numbers or am I comparing the numbers? Remember, with ratios, we were first dealing with just basic numbers like 2 to 3 cars, and then what would happen if you have 5 cars, how many trucks, right? So try to scale it down a bit. It says, all right, so if it's saying I have a millimeter of gold, and then, well, not millimeter, if I have a gram of gold and then a gram of nickels, and then I double the gold in terms of kilograms, how many nickels do I have?
Yeah.
That's a comparison. That's a ratio. So first I need to set it up as a ratio. Then I need to see if the units are right. So that's the 2-part. So you have to first see the first part. Is there a unit 1 part? Am I dealing with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, or ratios? Once I set that up, I'm now dealing with conversions of units.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to add there is algebra. So you're going to have questions dealing with the algebra, but that's the basic gist. Look for the unit 1 stuff: addition, subtraction, multiplication, fractions, or ratios. Once you decide what operation you're doing, then see what conversion you're doing.
Okay, got it.
So those are 2 steps for now. Once we get to unit 3 and unit 4, we're going to add 1 more element in there.
Okay.
All right, so try it. Go ahead,
so
try
much.
some more problems. If you run into issues, just ready, bring them on Thursday to ask, how to do them.
Okay.
We didn't touch
Thank
every
you so
question,
much.
so there's some questions left you can still try.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, bye-bye.
Good night, Mr. Ray.
Night, Justine. Night, Salvador.
Thank you.
Okay, night, Latavia.
Hi.
All right, and George, have a good evening. Your mic's muted, so not sure if you said anything back. All right, have a great evening, Sergio. And I'm just closing out now.
Okay, Mr. Ray, see you next time.
Yes, see you next time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, bye.